Greetings, pop pickers. In the pantheon of marginalised and overlooked instruments in rock, the flute must be pretty near the top. And it's not hard to see why, as it's pretty hard for a flute player to be heard over the din of electric guitars and drums, and leaping about the stage while trying to maintain your embouchure is not easy. On the plus side, you don't need a strong roadie to carry your gear. There are numerous examples, however, of the flute being used to sprinkle some fairy dust in classic rock songs, so I thought I would take a look at some of my favourite flute blowers. In making my choices of flute players, I've selected players that were regular members of their band as opposed to one-off invited session players. So let's head to Bandcamp and check out my top 5 flautists in rock. At number 5. Peter Gabriel of Genesis. A bit of a low-key flautist, Gabriel actually played flute on many early Genesis tunes and also live. The most famous example, perhaps, is the magnificent Firth of Fifth from Selling England by the Pound, where he has an extended flute piece. At number 4, Jerry Eubanks of the Marshall Tucker Band. Proof positive that even Stetson-wearing southern rock bands could do much more than rock out. Eubanks' flute was a signature part of the band's sound, particularly on their more jazzy outings, and it's hard to imagine a soulful workout like the magnificent song Can't You See without Eubanks' clear, plaintive flute pieces. He was allowed the space in the band to be a lead instrument, which is great. At number 3, Chris Wood of Traffic. Wood was a founder member of 60s and 70s British progressive rockers Traffic, one of my favourite bands, by the way, alongside Steve Winwood, Jim Capaldi and Dave Mason. Now, Wood brought a number of instrumental and songwriting talents to the table, and he also did a lot of session flute work for the likes of Jimi Hendrix. But his expressive flute was prominent on a number of classic Traffic tracks, such as Hole in My Shoe, Paper Sun, John Barleycorn, and particularly the song Rainmaker. At number 2, Ray Thomas of the Moody Blues. When the Moody Blues entered their pastoral psychedelic era from 1967 onwards, a huge component of that sound was the flute playing of Ray Thomas. And given that he was competing with multiple mellotrons, keyboards and orchestras, the fact that his classically inspired flute solos stood out on such legendary tracks like Nights in White Satin is quite an achievement. I also love this image of the band, resplendent in velvet dinner jackets. Such a toxic, raw, unbridled display of male sexuality is to be commended. Well done, lads. And at number 1, well, there can be only one artist in this position, the Laird of Lips, the Count of the Codpiece, the Earl of the Embrasure, the Dean of the Diaphragm, that is Ian Anderson of Jethro Tull. No one in rock history blows as hard as this titan of flute. In fact, it's entirely possible that Ian is the only flute player most people could name, which is a sign of his reach. Anderson, of course, is an accomplished songwriter, multi-instrumentalist and singer, but his addition to the Tull arsenal of prominent flute, particularly live, sets them apart from most bands and made a huge contribution to their sound. And those images of Anderson playing the flute, hair akimbo and codpiece proudly jutting, are truly iconic. Apparently, he did all this without the aid of alcohol and drugs, so he was reedless and weedless. His range was incredible, and in particular, he defined the hard, rasping, blues-based style of flute playing. So that's it for the top 5. Just outside, honourable mentions would go to Ties van Leer of Focus, particularly on the glorious wig out that is Hocus Pocus, and on House of the King. John Field of underrated prog band Jade Warrior. Andy Latimer of Camel, and in particular his work on the classic Snow Goose. And finally, Ron Burgundy Well, yes, I know he's a fictional character, but he shows total rock and roll level commitment when wielding his baton, stamping on tables and screaming Aquilung, and showing that flute players should bow to no one in attitude when rocking out. So young flautists, watch and learn. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, like, and click the bell for notifications. Until next time, keep on rocking.